The world just watched America capture a dictator, and nobody's celebrating.
President Trump says the U.S. carried out large-scale strikes on Venezuela overnight. He says its president, Nicolás Maduro, and his wife, Celia Flores, have been captured and flown out of the country.
January 3rd, 2026. U.S. forces storm Venezuela. Nicolás Maduro is in custody. Mission accomplished, right? Wrong. Because if you know history, and I mean really know it, what just happened wasn't a victory. It was a death sentence. Not for Venezuela, for the United States itself. See, there's this pattern, a 7-stage pattern that every superpower follows right before they collapse. Spain did it, Britain did it, the Soviet Union did it, and now the US is doing it. Stage 1, military overextension. Stage 2, economic strain. Stage 3, death spiral. Stage 4, loss of productive capacity. Stage 5, currency devaluation. Stage 6, loss of reserve currency status. Stage 7, complete collapse. And here's the terrifying part. America just hit stage 1 at full speed. Let me explain why this Venezuela invasion might be the beginning of the end. Right now, the US is already stretched thin. Ukraine, still sending billions. Middle East, tensions are boiling. Taiwan Strait, China's watching every move. And now, Venezuela. Another front, another war, another massive drain on resources. This is exactly what Britain did in 1914. They were the global superpower, controlling a quarter of the world. But they opened too many fronts, fought too many wars, and within 30 years, the empire was gone. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room, America's debt. $36 trillion. That's not a typo. $36 trillion. The US government is spending over $1 trillion every year just on interest payments. Not roads, not schools, not healthcare, just interest on money they already borrowed. So here's the question. Can a country drowning in debt afford a prolonged conflict in Venezuela? Spoiler alert, no. No, they can't. This is stage 3 of the collapse pattern, the debt spiral. Spain bankrupted itself trying to hold on to its colonies. The USSR bled itself dry in Afghanistan. And now the US is about to find out what happens when you fund wars with borrowed money. But wait, there's more. Hold on a sec. If you're still watching and you haven't subscribed yet, what are you doing? Like seriously, we're breaking down the literal collapse of a superpower in real time, and you're just casually scrolling? Nah, hit that subscribe button right now, because what comes next is going to make you question everything you thought you knew about power. Don't miss it. All right, back to the downfall. So why Venezuela? Why now? Here's the thing. Venezuela has the world's largest oil reserves, bigger than Saudi Arabia, bigger than Russia. It's an energy goldmine. And the US economy? It's struggling. Inflation's high. Energy costs are brutal. So on paper, controlling Venezuela's oil sounds like a genius move, right? Fix the economy, secure resources, restore American dominance. But here's where history gets dark. This is stage 4, loss of productive capacity. Spain tried the same thing. They invaded the Americas for gold and silver, thinking it would save their economy. Instead, the cost of war drained them faster than the resources could help. They collapsed within decades. So the real question is, will the cost of occupying Venezuela outweigh the benefits? Because if history is any guide, the answer is yes. And now we get to stage 6, the one that really matters, the loss of reserve currency status. For decades, the US dollar has been the global currency. Oil, traded in dollars. International debt, dollars. Global reserves, dollars. This gave America unlimited power. They could print money and the world would accept it. But this Venezuela invasion just gave the rest of the world a massive reason to ditch the dollar. Think about it. BRICS nations, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, they've been trying to create an alternative to the dollar for years, and now the US just invaded a South American country for its oil. What message does that send? It says if you have resources we want, we'll come take them. So now, oil-producing countries, developing nations, even US allies are thinking, maybe holding dollars isn't so safe anymore. Maybe we should diversify. Maybe we should trade in yuan or rubles or create our own currency block. And when the dollar loses its reserve status, that's when the empire really falls. Because suddenly, all that printed money comes flooding back. Inflation skyrockets. The economy collapses. Game over. So here's what's really happening. The US isn't invading Venezuela from a position of strength, they're invading from a position of desperation. The economy is broken, the debt is unsustainable, the military is overextended, and now, instead of fixing things at home, they're trying to secure resources abroad to buy more time. But empires don't collapse because they lose a war. They collapse because they no longer can afford to win one. Spain couldn't afford its wars. Britain couldn't afford its wars. The SSUR couldn't afford Afghanistan. And now, the US might not be able to afford Venezuela. So, is history repeating itself? Yeah, it is. The 7-stage collapse pattern is playing out right in front of us. Military overextension? Check. Debt spiral? Check. Loss of productive capacity? Check. And soon, the loss of the dollar's dominance. Venezuela might look like a military victory today, but in 10 years, it might be remembered as the moment the American empire began its final decline. Superpowers don't fall because they're weak. They fall because they refuse to admit they can't keep fighting. So, what do you think? Is this the beginning of the end, or can the US pull off a miracle? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'm genuinely curious. And if this video made you think, smash that like button, share it, and subscribe, because if we're watching an empire fall, you're gonna want to be here for it. See you in the next one.